wonder you hadn't pushed it.
I'm sure I didn't. I thought about it, but I thought it'd be nice. We're live.
And we're live. Welcome to a brand new episode of J. Fry Says No to Random Things. J. Fry Says News Analysis of the Week to Random Things.
Well,
I like it.
say no. That it stands for something is something else. Hang on, I got to make sure that this is actually going.
Well, I'll hold off introductions. Walmart's got its first case of trespassing.
It's working.
Episode of J. Fry. Meet the stream. And welcome. Yeah, over the weekend they got their first case of somebody open carrying in a store.
I thought
They
that
call
was
the police.
the policy went into effect.
This was Friday. At least the video I saw was from Friday. He's not charged with anything, but he has been written up for trespassing and was escorted out of Walmart.
I heard he was also banned.
Yeah, because
He
trespassing.
Nationwide.
N.A.W. Yeah, like they're going to enforce that. Like they're going to send a fax with his picture to every fucking Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
How far behind is the stream? There we go.
Far enough behind.
Good lord.
I am your host, Jay Fry, and with me, as usual, is Sean. How's it going, Sean?
Yeah, it's going. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. Also, Garrick is with us.
Hey there.
God damn it.
Wow.
And last, but certainly not least in our hearts, how's it going, Josh?
Yep, that's my title.
I felt that was a jib at my lack of soul.
No. I wouldn't be so heartless.
I thought you had a lot of soul. Zzz. And
Yeah,
it just
like
kept
per
in the bag.
freckle.
Well, I do.
He's like Shao
But I'm
Kahn,
not
he just
heartless.
collects them.
Yeah. Hey, N.A.W. Greetings, poet. There we go. Steve. Occasional chat. Fuck off, Steven. I'm trying here.
God, was there anything good in the news this week?
No.
No, not really. I kind of like. I like the idea of Trump just sticking it to the reporters because he was talking about Hurricane Dorian and like the expected path of Dorian, so he was covering his bases, and it the media more or less made it look like he was making stuff up, but Trump didn't back down from it. He's like, "Here's the path of Dorian. Here's the expected path of Dorian. If you follow it logically, like it's a goddamn baseball flying in a single direction, like every outfielder in the in Major League Baseball, you will see it's got a trajectory. Trajectory ends in Arkansas, like I fucking said.
Alabama, but yeah.
Alabama, yeah, like I fucking said. But it does have like the picture of like last week's forecast, and he drew his own extra circle so that it included Alabama. Like, told ya.
And then if you go back, there's a weather guy on CNN saying exactly the same thing. Watch out, Georgia and Alabama. Be prepared.
Yeah, because it's the expected path of the goddamn hurricane. Now, might not hit, but do you really want to take that risk?
No, and especially as president, because if you do say something like that, or better yet, if you don't say something like that and it hits Alabama, they say, look, even CNN said it was going to hit Alabama, and the president didn't warn anybody. They're already giving him grief for golfing while it was dumping on some other country.
Yeah,
I think that's the
on.
biggest problem with his office is there is no winning. No matter what you do, somebody's just pissed.
That's a bit of the presidency, but it's also a bit of just these people being pieces of shit. There's reality, and then there's what people know to be true. And unfortunately, so much more nowadays, it's people know this to be true. Fuck you, Josh, but an example of this is I was recently watching the show Mindhunter, and did I not tell you to fuck off?
I'll laugh
You
for
told
him
me
then.
to fuck up, but you didn't say you can't fucking laugh, asshole.
All right. So in the show Mindhunter, the FBI is they're the precursor to the FBI profiling unit, which is the Bureau of or the Behavioral Science Unit. They have done testing and theorized that the Atlanta child murder is a black man because they've sent black men into the neighborhood to collect kids, and they've sent white men into the neighborhood to attempt to collect kids, and the kids ain't having it for the white guys. So they theorize that it's the end sub is black. And they are correct because this is 1991 or 1981, and we know who Willie Williams or Willie Willis or whatever was the actual killer. But everybody in Atlanta knew that it was the Klan because they've been doing it for years, even though there's no real Klan activity in 80s Atlanta. But they knew it was the Klan, and everyone suspected the Klan. And when the mayor was getting shut down and the city was talking about it being the Klan, there was nothing he could do to stop them from going on and on in this particular instance about the Klan, which the mayor knew it wasn't the Klan. And what we're seeing is people who are putting their feelings above the facts in all these cases. And unfortunately, it's newscasters and opinion makers and policymakers who are the ones who are giving you the feelings instead of the facts. And that's what they're following through.
It's yes, but it's one of those things that, given the data they had prior to that, that assumption was a solid one.
But they're mocking it, even though they support it. One of the dumber examples of that is AOC and her 12 years to our second civil war over the climate crisis and how we're all going to be dead in 12 years. And the entire establishment media backed her up on it. No, she's exactly correct. Everyone's dead 12 years. And,
I don't
a
know.
year later.
I kind of like the whole idea of, Soylent
Climate
Green
Boogaloo?
is going to be a thing.
You're looking for climate boogaloo? Is that what you're looking for?
No, I'm thinking Soylent Green is going to be a thing now.
Oh,
If
yeah.
it already isn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm
Wink,
pretty sure that's
nod,
what
nod.
Diet Pepsi is at this point. What's
Pepsi 2
aspartame?
was the initial test run.
Aspartame is people.
Is it
But,
aspartame or is it aspartame? Aspartame.
Aspartame.
Are we pronouncing the same word two different ways? Because it's aspartame.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's funnier if you say aspartame, but okay.
It is. You're not wrong. We're going to get one message and it's going to be from Face. Sean's correct. Like, no, it's not aluminium. Get the fuck back to your own country.
Skeletal and shit like that.
Skeletal. I forgot about that one.
Well, what's that?
Skeletal instead of skeletal.
Oh, God. Oh, God, that's so terrible. All right, so I watched, what was the other thing I watched? So I watched Jack Ryan on Amazon Prime. Good, if it gives you a chance. And
Another show I told you to watch that was like, it's got some progressive stuff in it.
6 dicks, eat them all. So it is good, and if you haven't watched it, watch it. But I think the people that were involved have their heads so far up their own ass, they don't understand what it's like to be a person. And I'll explain further because I'm bored random. The terrorists they have there, great fathers, good husbands, whatever they wanted to do. They don't understand that you can be an amazing, say, activist for animals and the environment, and then at the same time, also, kill 6 million Jews. Just saying, those things are not mutually exclusive. You're not always a monster when you're a monster. And a perfect example of this is all my experience with the alt-right. It's white guys in America and white guys in England, and they're not saying anything about races. There's nothing about race wars. It's the white guys versus the white guys arguing what constitutes a biscuit.
That and they're marrying traps.
That and the trap marriage. But I've literally on multiple occasions just Steven says MSM is pushing cannibalism. So we'll get back to talking about that in a minute.
We were talking about Soylent Green.
They're already on the cusp of saying there's too many people. That there's only one direction that can lead in, and that is they're going to have to start killing people. And they're going to start selecting which people need to be killed. You watch, it's coming.
Yep.
Well, that would be entitled white people. The 7% of the global population.
So those damn straw users. Can't have people using straws. They got to go.
Never mind the fact that on certain days, California gets hit with not only pollution and pollens and things like that, but there's trees that are covered in fur because shorning sheep for wool, some of it gets into the air and it flies completely across the Pacific Ocean. And
You mean the Pacific?
what? That's what I said.
You said Pacific.
Did I lean towards the microphone and say Pacific Ocean? I believe I did.
I know, and it's still funny to correct you, even though I know you're doing it intentionally, because it steps on your toes and you get fucking pissy about it.
Are you gonna fill up our gas or not? So, all right, fuck my point. I'm just saying. Apparently, we're gonna start eating people, which was not the point of my conversation, but that's where we're at now.
You guys can eat people. I still live on a farm. I will slaughter animals. Thank you very much.
I am going to go hunting.
That is fucking hilarious, Steven.
What?
Oh,
Was it
that
something
is
about
good.
him eating dick?
I like it.
That is fucking hilarious. Steven, his first comment is MSM is pushing cannibalism. His second comment is replacing fuck, marry, kill with appetizer, main course, dessert.
Ah, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
This makes me want to just go live off the grid in a small cabin.
On the other hand, I do smell delicious.
Not with
The
the penis,
bears.
though. Yeah, you lack the sugary sweetness.
Exactly. He's savory.
Savory. Yeah, thank you.
He's got that certain umami.
But
that,
he's also pretty salty, too.
yeah. It's a sea salt, though. It's still slightly tangy. It's the umami's everybody's looking for. Is that umami? Is that
Umami, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Edamame?
I heard it once before from this guy that I can't stand but will listen to sometimes in a hateful way. And he said it once. I'm like, what straight man says umami? If you're not a chef, should that even be in your lexicon?
Your vocabulary?
Yeah. Shut up! You better eat all 6 of those dicks by now.
I'm not Steven.
Oh, that's just rude.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. Don't take pot shots at our loyal
I like
audience.
Steven!
Hey Steven, if you are a cannibal, is a black dick like well done or that's still considered rare?
That's Cajun.
Oh, that's
No. That's Creole. There's
We
a
got
very
some.
big difference.
We got some black and dick here if you want some. That'd be good with that etouffee.
I wish
Man.
you
I
still
think
had my accent.
that'll be
I
the
miss
thing
it.
that'll push people over the edge.
If it's colored people getting food, Because I was just thinking,
No. I'm talking about cannibalism.
going outside their race for cannibalism?
No, just cannibalism in general.
What? All right, what about it pushes them over the edge? Like I said, like, I'm not going to eat a man. Maybe I will pray. Like, what? Like, maybe I will go back to traditional American values.
Yeah.
Because if they're going to eat bugs, because bugs is going to come first. They're already pushing bugs hard.
They're pushing
it's been
bugs
a couple years.
real hard. And I'm not necessarily opposed to it as long as they're cooked right. But then again, I'm not necessarily opposed to cannibalism as long as it's cooked right. So, I mean,
minus the kuru.
Yeah.
I'm not against cannibalism minus the uhuru.
Well,
Uhuru, y'all!
I'm just saying it's gonna make the uhuru very right. See, I'm telling you, they harvest those raw organs.
Well, Planned Parenthood just pretty much owned up to that, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, congressional hearing, yeah.
Fucking Alex Jones is the modern day prophet. I swear to God.
I've been saying that for years. And he's got to be, because like when I would go back and I would talk about when I used to watch him back in 2015, 2016, 2017. His take on Jade Helm. If Alex Jones is as bug nuts crazy as you say, why are you lying about him? Just show that he's completely crazy using his own words. Don't make shit up. You'd think so, Steven. Infanticide before the 2018 election should have stopped Dems, but it didn't.
They didn't believe it. That's the problem.
And they should have, because the fucking...
Right. The ones who didn't care about it obviously knew about it and didn't care, but the people who would care about it or did care about it didn't believe it to be true. Because it is literally horrific to consider.
You're right, Fraggle, with the spelling, but
okay. I was curious. It just threw me for a second.
No, infanticide is when you're very into the homicide.
You're vocal about it.
Yeah.
There's some emphasis, possibly on the wrong syllable.
God, I fucking hate you.
Why do we do this? We don't even like each other anymore. Like, this is a contractual agreement at this point. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So in the Dave Chappelle special, Sticks and Stones, he has this part which is kind of funny about how to get rid of guns in America. And I'm not going to tell the joke because it's his joke, and I don't steal jokes. Unlike Sean. Get off my land. It's on my land. That's what I meant.
No, the snow joke?
I love that snow joke. It's still not yours.
No, it's not, but it's one of the best jokes ever.
It is. All right, so basically, the punchline is that black people need to register for guns. And that's how you get rid of it. I think the strongest way to realize what abortion is in this climate is for white people to support abortions in black neighborhoods. Fully embrace them as Republicans. Like, oh, absolutely, miss. You are only 23 years old, making $71,000 a year with your college degree. You absolutely should kill your unborn child. He is black, right? Okay, good. Let's sign you up for Planned Parenthood. Because they are doing that because it's the start of their career and they want to be making $100,000 a year or whatever. Because they've all been given free college tuition because of their darkness, which they've earned the degree. I mean, there's some shitty things going on with grading wise as far as like final exams go, and you can get an A by making a rap album as your senior thesis, but they still have to put forth the effort in everyday classes. And as somebody at the start of equal opportunity, I was at the University of Michigan when equal opportunity was coming about, and these black kids, like we would have in a campus that held 20,000 people, 35,000 students, and there was no room for all those people. And as they dropped out, we went down to a much lower number by 6 weeks into the classes. People realized college wasn't for them. They didn't have the proper understanding or just vocabulary to write a proper essay, and would slowly wean themselves away from it. So the people nowadays that are in there and they're getting the grades are mostly getting the grade themselves. I don't care how harsh the professor, they actually still care about their classes and aren't going to put somebody in who can't do the work. No matter how much tutoring is helping them get it done, they are still learning the materials. So they are getting the jobs outside, hopefully, of academia. They're not all taking gender studies to teach gender studies. But if we push them, supporting the abortion of black children in an ethnic genocide sort of way, maybe they'll wake up to it. Stop it from happening. Or they'll keep going and we can all be friends on the same subject of killing black babies. Those are the options.
Hey, Sean, just a random thing real quick. If you really want to do an opening to the show, you know what you should do, huh?
What's that?
The Jeffersons?
Hell no.
The hell's that from?
I could probably find it for you.
Did anybody watch the Planned Parenthood admit to the congressional testimony?
No, I admittedly have only two sources, and it looks like they copied each other.
So it's just the headline?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that, according to the response that I read from somebody I follow that I hardly ever agree with, they were just saying, oh, it's just stem cells, it's no big deal, which is kind of the entire reason that the Bush administration pushed the law that said you don't get to have embryonic stem cells in your research. That was
Which is
kind of the whole point.
The original treasurer, do you know who the original treasurer of Planned Parenthood was?
No. Oh, Bush's grandpa.
Prescott, yeah.
Well, that's back when it was openly racist, and you had to keep up appearances.
That's prior to them moving to Texas to become governors.
Did anybody else see my tweet about the arm sandwich, like the second picture?
Yeah.
Inside the labs, creating meat from stem cells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be eating people.
Soylent Green is people.
They've been doing that for
human
years,
stem cells.
growing ears. Yeah, they've been growing ears on the back of rats and whatnot for.
Yeah, well, they've been trying to actually make civilizations meat vats for about my entire life.
Thank you, Nephilim, for that image. A whole blender full of stem cells.
Well, babies don't liquefy themselves.
They start out that way, though.
Hey, Fry made it funny.
I've been known for it once in a great while. Let's see what else we got. We got attempted rape by a former Newmarket police officer involving children.
Oh, apparently Brexit is not going to happen.
Why?
If you haven't been following it, Boris Johnson basically said he needs hang on a sec. They take forever to charge. Give me these. Go.
Hey, take those wines back to the wine store. Try right next to the pot store.
I gave you a cable to use them. Okay, out. Out.
It's all fun and games until they get needy.
It's a kid. They're always needy.
They're just not much fun, are they, Fry?
That is such a good writer. I mean, he's a kid, but he's not much fun. He doesn't talk. What do you want me to do?
Won't hug me.
My nephew came up to me once. It was a lot of my family members were sitting outside next to a bonfire, and he goes, Uncle Jason, I have something important to tell you. I'm like, Charlie, you're 9. You're not going to have anything important to tell me for 3 or 4 years. He goes, oh, okay. It's kind of important. I'm like, what is it, Buck? And he goes, your jacket's on fire. Turns out, I was mistaken. He has something important to tell me.
So are you saying we should listen to our children?
I think you should listen to your kids. I mean, they're still not fun, but you should listen to your kids.
Some say that the children are our future.
My wife and I were... I mean, they are our future. Don't elect people without kids, by the way. What the fuck are you doing?
All right, back to elections and Brexit. So Boris Johnson got put in as PM because the Tories were, and I emphasize were, the party in the majority. But this whole Brexit thing has gotten all the Remainer Tories, which are a bunch of, globalist cucks, to abandon him.
We need that sounder.
Yeah, we do need that sounder. I'll find it here in a minute. Actually, I think it's on my other PC. I won't be finding it for today, but I will have it for next week. But yeah, so they've abandoned him and and have revolted against the Tory party in general, and are backing the Remainers. They passed they passed a measure through the House of Commons and through the House of Lords in under 24 hours that says no hard Brexit on Halloween, which basically takes away Boris Johnson's only bargaining chip to get an actual deal out of the EU, thus basically defanging him completely. So now he is no longer in the majority, but Parliament is refusing to actually call a general election, which is normally what they do when the Prime Minister's party ends up as the minority party.
Parliament.
The Queen suspended Parliament for 5 weeks.
Right.
So, and I don't know when that starts, because obviously it hasn't started because they passed this legislation. Anyway, so normally what happens when the Prime Minister's party loses the majority, they have a vote of no confidence, and then they call for a general election. Well, nobody wants to call for a general election despite Boris being defanged and him having passed this legislation, because they know that the majority of the British population voted for Brexit and is increasingly becoming pissed off that the will of the people hasn't been followed through on. So they know they're all going to hang, basically, when the public does get a vote, and they'll be right back at square one. So what they're doing is they're delaying as much as possible to get past the October 31st date so that everything has to be renegotiated and they start all over again.
So
they're basically putting into a vicious cycle again.
Yeah, all they want to do is prevent it from happening at all costs.
Yeah.
And
so
they're succeeding.
what would happen is Boris Johnson is the boss right now, the MP,
The PM.
PM. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they want to claim a vote of no confidence, which would cause a vote, but they're thinking that instead of him losing his seat, he would sustain his seat, and they would lose their seats, giving the majority to him to use for the Brexit.
And I guess today, it had to be today's thing. The guy that they have as their Speaker of the House of Commons is not the Prime Minister. He's just a minister that is elected to do the speakership in the House, who has apparently been doing it forever, has said that he is stepping down as of October 31st. So he's not doing it he's not doing it immediately. He's waiting until the deadline so that he can delay, call the right people, call the right votes, and basically be that bulwark against Brexit actually happening as a hard Brexit. So the people in Britain pretty much need to sharpen their pitchforks and their sharpie spoons and garden implements and get out there.
That's no.
But Sean in no way is advocating for knives.
They don't have knives.
Yeah,
Exactly.
They have pool
pick up
acid.
your guns, Britain. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't.
Yeah. Pool acid they have, but I don't recommend that. That's just cruel and unusual. And it just burns a motherfucker. You need to actually kill motherfuckers at this point. You need to let the blood to feed the tree of liberty. So
Do they have trees of liberty over there?
they might find one.
They don't even have free speech over there. Who's actually been oddly not supportive of Brexit, but he's upset with how it's going about. Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan's a Remainer, but Piers is saying, "Hey, there was a vote. We lost the vote. I voted Remain myself, but if we're not going through with this, that you're ignoring the will of the people." And I was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, did you see what Ringo Starr said?
Piers Morgan's correct for once.
Yeah.
I did not see
Piers Morgan is right on everything but guns, it seems like.
He enjoyed the shit out of shooting fully automatic, and he's still standing back. He's like, "Oh no, that's
Yeah, he just does. Yeah, he just doesn't believe any rube should be able to own them, which he's just wrong. But whatever. But did you see what they did to Ringo Starr?
I did not see anything about Ringo.
Okay,
no.
So Ringo Starr was interviewed, and he said, "I mean, yeah, the people voted for it. Why hasn't it been delivered?" And and they said, "Well, Parliament says, well, we don't like the outcome of the vote." He's like, "Well, who cares? You don't get a choice as to whether or not you like it or not. That you don't get a choice to follow through on it or not. You had a vote. You need to do it." And he's like, "Don't tell Bob Geldof that," joking. So the BBC calls him, get this, former Beatle, Ringo Starr.
I mean, kind of. And he's the only one survived.
It's not wrong, but I guarantee you they never refer to Paul McCartney as former Beatle Paul McCartney.
Is George dead?
Yeah, the only two left are Ringo and Paul.
Paul's alive?
Paul McCartney? Yes, he is.
Pretty sure he died in like 1967.
That's the rumor. Either way, his replacement is alive and well and promoting veganism and vegetarianism every chance he gets, to the point of not allowing Michael Jackson, or not Michael Jackson, but not allowing Weird Al Yankovic to parody his songs unless they're vegan compliant.
Man, Paul McCartney got so screwed by Michael Jackson. I still enjoy that story. Paul McCartney went to Michael Jackson in the mid 80s because the Beat 'em songs were up for sale, the copyright. And he's like, "I just need $100 million, man, and I'll be able to buy the rights to all the songs." And like, that sounds like a good investment. Gave him $100 million, and then bought them from underneath Paul McCartney. Like, why'd you give me the money if you couldn't do it yourself? He goes, "Oh, I just thought you wanted the money, man." Like, how many millions of dollars do you have, Michael Jackson? You can give away $100 million and spend $300 million on these songs.
Yeah, but who got the last laugh? Paul McCartney's still alive, and they killed Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but who's got the rights?
Sony.
Oh, they're gonna fuck that up just like they did Spider-Man.
The ones who had Michael Jackson killed. Go figure.
I see someone's following Layla Jones. Speaking of, I was recently talking about Dave Chappelle, and they've now called him out. It's time to admit that Dave Chappelle is a white supremacist. Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones stand-up special proves that you don't need to be white to be a white supremacist. By Jared Michelle. Holy shit. I don't know who it's not it doesn't have the headline of what who sent this out, but holy shit.
Guaranteed tranny.
Yeah, it's a strong possibility.
They're the only ones who are actually mad about the Dave Chappelle show.
Hey, Sean, are you in the chat by chance?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to send you something.
Oh, here we go. The only unarguable fact about the Brexit fiasco, this is from Piers Morgan, is that there's now a
Oh, yeah, I've seen this.
concerted campaign driven by Parliament to stop it happening. And as someone who voted Remain, I think it's absolute disgrace. If Britain doesn't deliver Brexit, none of us should ever bother voting again. I mean, yes, I agree. The Remainers should never bother voting again. But for a completely different reason.
Yeah,
3 days ago, Elizabeth Warren posted, "On my first day as president, I will sign an executive order that puts a total moratorium on all new fossil fuel releases for drilling offshore and on public lands, and I will ban fracking everywhere." Jesus.
All I got out of the climate change thing on CNN was that the Democrats are all about banning basically everything.
Yeah, nothing's more fun than having to deal with a broken the rare chemicals needed to put together a solar panel, and the broken ones just toxifying a landfill. It's insane. The only person I think that can beat Trump is Tulsi Gabbard, and she can't beat members of her own party. It's really crazy.
You know what? I absolutely agree with you, but what does that tell you about the party?
I can't picture the party being. All right, so there are tons of virtue signalers within the Democrat ranks, and they want to do their virtue signaling, but at such a high price to lose another 4 years to Trump.
They think Biden can do it, dude.
He cannot.
I agree, he cannot. But what if he and Elizabeth Warren come to an agreement where he's the top of the ticket, she's the bottom of the ticket, and he basically goes in there as a placeholder?
The media would love that and push that, which would give them an extra 15 to 20 points. But it's still not enough. It's two people on the same ticket. Like they're the same people. One has a penis. They're not pulling in new voters.
Hey, that's a big difference to us conservatives.
Who's sleeping?
Josh.
That's hilarious.
I texted him for several hours late into the night last night.
To be fair, I was almost there about 5 minutes ago. So you'd have had two people sleeping on.
Now I've got to get the
stream.
sounder just so I can blare it. Hang on. I'll find it. I'll be right back. Talks amongst yourselves.
Go ahead. Wait, what sounder?
The globalist cocks. The same one we were talking about earlier. Egypt. I pretty much, that's all I do here is talk amongst myself.
Well, I mean, Josh is sleeping and I'm on the verge of falling asleep, so keep me entertained by all means.
Oh, sorry. That's not what we do here.
Oh.
And I think both my subscribers can agree with me here. Steven and Nephilim. Nephilim says I'm surprised that the never comes up. And I'd like to explore geothermal more because I think it could be something because that is one of the few constants. It's always at a warmer temperature and can be used. And there's great links to that in just simple hydrothermal. The hydros from like Hoover Dam and places like that, where clearly you're always going to have that water pouring, especially if global warming is a thing. You're not going to run out of dam water anytime soon.
You filthy, swampy, globalist cuck!
Nephilim says Warren as VP would be making inroads with the Clintons. Oh, Warren wants to make Clinton the VP. I don't know about that. I mean, maybe they could sync up their heat flashes or something, but I don't.
That would be a fantastic way to make sure you got yourself killed.
that is how you suicide properly in Arkansas. Yeah, I want Clinton on my ticket as a second. Wait, I'm sorry, what?
I don't think I can get this loud enough.
My God, he really.
You filthy, swampy, globalist cuck!
It's not that bad. I definitely had worse.
Yeah, you guys can't hear that. The stream can hear it. Let me see if I can.
Download it on your phone. Play it on your microphone.
Yeah, well, hang on. I'm working on that. This is going to be loud, just so you know.
All right, taking one ear off.
You filthy, swampy, globalist cuck!
Did that come through?
Yeah.
Yeah, that came through.
Did it, buddy? I'm sorry about that. America is the only country where you check your food stamp balance on a smartphone and complain about oppression.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone else answered the question. It's your turn, Josh.
What question was that?
The one I just asked.
About food stamps?
That was not a question. That was a. Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
I
I
know.
dozed off, I know.
Yeah. I know. I know too that you dozed off.
Yeah,
I
I snored a little
explained.
bit, I'm sure.
I explained why you dozed off. I was texting you late into the night about Mindhunter.
Yes. 2 o'clock in the fucking morning.
To be fair, it was 3 o'clock in the morning.
For you.
Good Lord, man, leave the guy alone.
He technically was up like an hour before that messaging me.
Leave Brittany alone.
Yeah, boy.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy, Twoon, he's a YouTuber. He had 150,000 subs, was hacked, and his channel was stolen and destroyed as he watched. Which, that doesn't make sense, but he's been emailing back and forth for a month now, and he lost his channel. Like, it's YouTube. Change your Google password and go from there. It shouldn't happen.
Well, that's how you lose it, is somebody gets in and then changes the password to something you don't know.
Use two-step verification.
Well,
It
I
should have
agree with
come
that.
to your smartphone.
I'm starting to do that more and more with all my stuff.
Verify all the things.
It's a good idea. Especially if you have much of any presence anywhere.
Yeah, I don't.
It's a comic strip that says, "I've taken a controversial new pill that accelerates my brain." The guy says, "So you're smarter now?"
No,
I said, "I'm stupid faster." I think Biden's got that market cornered. Anybody got anything they want to talk about?
No, not particularly.
With the thing that's getting no play, I mean, it got a little bit of play, but like nobody's dwelling on it like they should, is Christine Blasey Ford's lawyer came out and admitted that the motivation to do what they did, to try to ruin a man's life and reputation based on sexual accusations,
Was a farce, yes.
was, I mean, we all knew it at the time, which is I think why nobody's commenting on it, but you've just got them copping to it. That should be everywhere.
But it's not.
Wait, what? When did this come out?
Last week. It's like
Is that
last,
the attacks on Kavanaugh were all bullshit?
Yeah.
not I mean, we knew that it is, but I mean that's not how they phrased it. They phrased it as part of the motivation was to make sure that Roe v. Wade didn't see a challenge. So basically it's admitting it's bullshit made up for a purpose, and they're going to ruin a man's life, ruin a man's reputation, don't care because the outcome that they desire politically is more important than truth and a man's career life, etc. Because he might pose a danger to their outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they didn't want, well, truth and justice.
Hashtag shocked, not shocked.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Get in the way of America. I didn't hear anything about this.
Right. It, like I said, it made a very short few rounds with the usual suspects, like people who are way to the right and way inclined and like acting like they didn't know. But yeah, it got no mainstream play whatsoever. Kind of like the Planned Parenthood thing, admitting to selling stem cells or parts for profit, because it's that's just going to go nowhere.
Yep.
Oh, and Alphabet well, no, it wasn't Alphabet. It was a lawyer who did the analysis for the Congressional Business Office, admitted that Alphabet Corporation was the biggest donor to the Clinton campaign and swayed about 2 million votes towards Clinton.
Which Alphabet?
Google's parent company, the Alphabet company.
Oh, Alphabet Company.
Right. Which, dude, I mean, it's in
the
name.
I thought you were talking about like the CIA, the NSA.
Chappelle chose his words for a reason. Alphabet company, Alphabet people, same company. They run fucking everything.
Yeah. Well, Bill Whittle has an excellent point that he makes, and he's been making it for over a decade now, about how the mainstream media, on average, per election cycle, clears 15 to 20 points for the Democrats, all by themselves. And you notice it when you've had, to this day, the Obama administration touting a scandalous 8 years. After Benghazi, after the beer summit, after Fast and Furious, after the IRS incident, they're still claiming scandalous administration.
Oh, that's why Miss Madeline likes you.
What?
She's from Detroit.
Yeah, I knew that. What does that have to do with anything?
Nothing. I just put two and two together because she's got this huge picture of the Detroit skyline on her Twitter page.
I like the chat. Like, is she here? Did she say she's from Detroit? Yeah. Yeah, I'm Detroit born and raised. Well, till 6.
Yeah.
Then, like all good Detroiters, I moved to the suburbs.
To get away from,
The blacks.
I was going to say
That's what I'm talking about.
the roving wild packs of dogs, but sure, that works too. Or the actual bears that have started to move in to Detroit.
Yeah. Did you see Neo put out a 30-minute fucking video today on OJ?
I was
No.
actually watching it when we got this thing rolling. And I'm only like 7 or 8 minutes into it. I'm like, oh, Neo,
30 minutes.
you're killing
Yeah,
me, man.
I still like OJ.
You like the juice.
I do like the juice.
I just
That's
like the
nonsense.
fact that he's got a Twitter now and it's funny as hell.
I'm telling you, he's innocent.
He talks way too much about. It's almost like he's sponsored to talk about his damn fantasy league.
He probably is. He's going to make dough somehow.
But he doesn't. He doesn't say what it is. He just talks about his fantasy league.
I think they need to make another Lethal Weapon movie. Put him back in it.
You're an idiot.
You mean
Did you just conflate?
Loaded
Oh,
Weapon
yeah.
or whatever the hell it is, yes.
Did you just conflate OJ with Danny Glover?
No, I didn't conflate
Yeah.
him with Danny Glover. I was thinking the one with Leslie Nielsen and that
Leslie
he was in.
Nielsen and
Naked
George
Gun.
Kennedy are dead.
Naked Gun?
Naked Gun. There we go. That's the one I wanted.
Oh God, what are we gonna do with you, Sean?
I'm already
Put me
scared
out
for
to
the-
pasture, I guess. I don't know.
I'm scared they're gonna pass it on to his daughter.
Who?
The new Die Hard.
You think Rumor
Well-
Willis is going to take over for Die Hard?
No, the daughter from the show.
Oh.
Because they
No.
really wanted to pass it on to his son, who was played by Courtney Jai. What? No, Courtney. Yeah, whatever. But that was a PG-13 movie. It was just terrible. Like, quit making Die Hard. It's PG-13. His fucking catch line is "Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker." That's rated R.
You know what upsets Fry when he gets angry?
Everything upsets Fry when he gets there.
Don't just. Fry will go off on tangents for hours.
Nephilim thinks I'm black now.
Well,
That's when you just
I
say
don't
it black where it counts.
you say OJ's free, or OJ didn't do it.
Just so you
Next-
know, that's a picture of me right there, Nephilim. So
The Kardashians are talented. That's your next faux pas. I think Michael Jackson's innocent.
I agree with that.
I like OJ, so that's pretty much close.
okay, so my theory on OJ is that he covered for his kid.
His oldest, not one of Nicole's.
Yeah, not one of Nicole's. OJ's actual son.
They're all OJ. All of his sons are his sons, but
Well, yeah, I mean his actual first son from his first marriage.
yeah, that Nicole,
Who's got a
split
mental
up.
condition, mind you. As far as I am led to understand, he has a learning disability, and I think he got upset seeing Nicole with some other dude, and got all stabby, and OJ fixed it.
That would make me like him more.
Yep, agreed.
I mean, still feel bad for Ron Goldman and is it Ron Goldman? The
Ron
her,
Goldman,
her father.
the dad.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, his father.
Or no, that was who was the guy that got killed?
Something Goldman.
Okay.
She was a Brown. Her father would have been Brown.
Right. Okay. So yeah. So the innocent waiter going after the cougar hottie basically gets himself murderized for no good reason.
Yeah, it was the dad was Ron, and the kid was No, wait. Ron Goldman was murdered. He was.
Yeah, Ron Goldman was the waiter that got murdered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember at the time I said, when they were like, OJ is looking to be like the #1 suspect, I said OJ should run for it. And he did.
He drove a sweet Ford Bronco.
Well, he didn't. His buddy
Well,
Al
he made
did.
somebody else drive it.
Yeah. But I remember saying like a couple hours before, I was like, uh-oh, OJ better run for the border. And then like 2 hours later, it hit the news and the choppers, and we were glued to the TVs for the rest of the year, basically.
It was
one of
Fred
those
Goldman.
chopper pilots would later threaten to beat up Ben Shapiro as a woman, allegedly.
She doesn't even understand how ambulances work. They don't drive people home.
Yeah.
Yeah, Fred Goldman's the dad.
Okay. I mean, I felt bad for him for a while until he literally took everything OJ had.
Including the rights to If I Did It.
And the
It's a shame
just
that
saying,
Jackson died. He was right about to put out that If I Did Them, the story of how he would have fucked a bunch of kids. That'll come out next year as the autobiography to
The Pope?
Dave Chappelle. I wouldn't fuck a kid, but if I would, Macaulay Culkin. We did an hour, practically. Nearly.
Yeah.
Where's my
I did
thing?
like 45 minutes because, well, technically I fell asleep for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. We were there. We were here for this.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
It's fine. You weren't even that loud. It took me a minute to realize you were actually snoring.
Not a problem,
Yeah.
Henry. Because
Yeah,
we always
I
take them
just,
back.
hey, at least I woke up and didn't require the Dukes of Hazzard more.
participated. I participated more.
Yeah.
Well, this is the off hours so you can get a nap in.
All right. Yeah, I got to work tomorrow, unfortunately. My vacation has officially come to an end.
Oh. No more ordering straws in Montana restaurants.
No more ordering straws in Montana.
You had to ask specifically?
Yeah, you didn't hear on Sunday show?
I texted him and I was like, "Hey,
I got distracted during the Sunday show and ended up making that picture, so I was only half
Footless
paying
in
attention.
Seattle.
Yeah, Minneapolis. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Matt had commented that he was out to a restaurant with a buddy on Thursday, and he had to request a straw. And they're like, "Yeah, it's only done by request now." It's like, Matt outed you.
It's all right. I gave out his sage advice of 425. 425.
That I missed. I went to the bathroom.
No, that's actually a good idea. I had never thought of that. Sounds like a solid
I could not
advice.
believe it.
What is that in relation to? 425 for 25 minutes. What
Cooking
is that?
frozen potatoes, like you get the Ore-Ida stuff out of the freezer section.
Yeah.
You throw them on a sheet, and then you put the oven at 425, even though it says 400, and you do it for 25 minutes instead of the 20 it tells you.
Huh. Longer and higher.
And also, chicken and apple bratwursts actually weren't that bad.
No, they're pretty tasty.
Chicken apple sausage is good. Yeah, I'll give you that. Chicken and apple go really well together. All right, I sent out the Hangout link, so we should get...
I'm going to miss it when it gets replaced by Soylent Green and apple.
So I think green and apple is pretty good together. Because it still tastes
It
like...
tastes like chicken.
Yeah. All right, anybody have anything to wrap up on, or we can get out of here?
Yeah, not really. We can bomb out.
All right. That has been Nah for today, says Jeff Fry, and we will see you again next week. Unless I don't feel like doing this anymore.
All right, you gonna say goodbye, Garrick?
Wake up, Garrick. Okay. Fuck both of you.
Hey, Fry.
What?
I met your favorite part on Line Hunters.
Oh god, I fucking love that Georgia, the Atlanta interviews. They're hilarious, both of them.
$2 an hour. You a cop?
Oh god, I love that part so much. Show us your dick. You gotta show us your dick if you're not a cop.
Pull your dick.
That's how hookers test if you're a cop. What are you doing, kid? Are we off air?
We are now.
All right. Yeah, that's.